On my cast now, they're all Lola, who's the lead, was 18 when we cast her. And then they're all like 21, 22. They're young. But then, people had said to me, like, first season they work for you, and then second season you work with each other, and third season you work for them. And I have to say, I'm like, from my experience with them, and the show has done well. They're all like really like good people, and I haven't found that like they're just very good-hearted, like kind people. So it hasn't been that.
That's great.
It's not worth it to work with people who
it's true for years.
Because we're really in it together. We're together for 6 months filming, and we're really like sort of spirited away. We're in North Carolina at the beach. It's different, I'm sure, like doing a show in the city where
it's its own thing.
It's its own thing. They're not like going to the clubs. We're just
clubs.
like playing Mafia.
Yeah.
That sounds really lovely.
It's so lovely. They're all lovely.
We've had other guests come on the show and explain who were child actors, talk about how inappropriate often things they were exposed to on set were, and being exposed to really adult behavior, and even like people not taking into account that it would be very hard for a child to say no, so taking advantage of the fact that they're probably going to say yes to everything. And I was wondering, as a showrunner who works with young people, what are you learning about creating environments that are protective for them?
I think having that like relationship where I'm saying, you can tell me if something doesn't feel right. If you don't feel like you can keep working, it's a really weird, because ultimately everyone there, we all have the same goal, which is like we need to get our day done and we need to get the scenes and stuff, right? So you're trying to get, it's a lot of like juxtaposing forces in a way.
It is, yeah.
Right? Because ultimately that is the goal, and it is work. And sometimes there is that weird language around Hollywood where like we're like a family and this and that, but like it is a job. And so sometimes when you use that family language, the boundaries can get like a little bit weird too.
Yeah.
I check in with them a lot and ask them how they feel. And I told like Lola, who, like I said, she's the lead of my show, who I really adore. I told her from the beginning that like she's more important than like, the show, like that her well-being matters to me more than like the show. Truly, like like I really came to like love her so much. So I feel like I'm gonna tear up. I really do care about her. So when things are hard and stuff, I'm like, you can just like tell me and we'll figure it out. Because it can get so intimidating too when you've got like ADs walking around and everyone's like, we gotta go. And I felt it myself even as like when I'm rewriting something and we're losing light. You gotta go fast and to slow down for a second and just like take a beat, and not to diminish the work that we're doing, but ultimately, is it going to be the end of the world if we have to pick this up tomorrow or like come back? If someone's like really tired or they're sick.
The environment on a set is, the stakes are heightened to the point that it feels like you are there curing cancer or sending people to space. It's like and it's all ultimately because a lot of money is being spent. So it comes down from the studios, and no one who is currently alive is responsible for generating this, but everybody's upholding it to some degree. By and large, it's understandable and partly necessary and usually forgivable depending on like the transgression. But then I think everybody finds themselves at some point like, wait, are we going to let like capitalism like crush somebody right now? Like, and actually traumatize somebody right now? Or are we going to like all stop and be like, hey guys, it's a television show. Like it's not what is so important.
Yeah.
But it's tough because then it's like, like we're losing light or like we have to pull the plug like in this moment or whatever.
And there are so many factors and so many people working so hard
to
make it happen
and,
with a location or whatever it is. And like we had a moment this past season where one of my actors was like feeling pretty sick and had been like battling through it. And this was our last day of filming and we were done. We were wrapped. And I was at home and FaceTimed her just to check in. Everyone was saying, she's good. She feels okay to go. And then I FaceTimed her and she's like in the makeup trailer. And I was like looking at her face and I was like, are you good to go? And she was like, yeah, I can do it. And then I was like, I don't think so though. Like I just looked at her and I was like, she was like, no, I'm going to be okay. And then I go, I don't think that you are okay. And let's just call it right now and say, we're just not doing it. And we'll have to come back. Like, I feel sorry to everybody. We're going to have to like figure it out. And she started crying like really hard. And I was like, look, doesn't it feel like a relief that you just make the decision and that's the decision? And then people were mad at me. Sure. Because they're like, why did you just like make that call right then and there? And whatever. And then we had to like do reshoots in like LA and it was a whole thing. But ultimately it was a really big scene for her. So I felt like it wasn't fair to power our way through one of her like biggest scenes of the season just because she realized like the whole crew, everybody wanted to be
Of
done.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that, but you, at what cost? And then you lose, I think maybe a little trust with your actors as well. If you sometimes push for things that, you know, for our relationship, and I think also just for her own sense of like happiness and like pride for the work that she was doing, I felt like it was important.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. That is what people in so many industries are faced with. It's like, are we going to let money as the bottom line, like actually potentially just hurt someone? And we know that it does by default. So anyway, I think that's really cool. I think
And then
it's
it was
really cool.
okay. Guess
Yeah,
what?
of course it's okay.
A few weeks later, people had to fly out to LA, and I'm sorry that they had to do
And
that.
Netflix is
But
all right, by the way.
It wasn't Netflix. It was Amazon. And
Amazon's
they're
better.
They're definitely all right. They definitely took the hit.
And everybody was fine with it, and it all worked out. I think for me, because I wrote the books as well, I definitely feel the pressure I feel isn't just of here's a show, but it's about people who read those books when they were 12 years old, and now they're, 15 years later, they're like working adults, and it means something to them. So I really want to do a good job, and like I think everyone in the cast, that's part of why I have so much like respect for them, is they all understand that too.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I love that, Jenny.
That is you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. You don't get that a lot.
No, it
in
feels
this
it feels
business.
rare. This is
Yeah.
special.
I think people externalize the well-being of actors